what to do. Welcome to the Isle of Roux, where
no one tells us what
no
to
one
do.
tells us what to do.
I wanted to be more swag, so I put the sweater on.
Oh, you're so handsome.
Thank you.
Look at that handsome man.
I see. It looks like there's sound.
Yes, it looks like we have sound.
We do have one viewer.
I'm going to click share on my
currently
Facebook.
If you are with us, it would mean the world if you gave some indication whether you can hear our voices.
All right.
Could you do that, please?
I'm going to start with the land acknowledgement as well.
I want to be a real boy.
The Creator gifted us with this land that we are blessed to share and care for together. We acknowledge that the land we gather on Wakinstis is the ancestral territory of the Siksika, Sitapi, the Siksika, the Gaina, the Pikani, the Amskapi, Pikani. We acknowledge all First Nations and Métis of Treaty 7 lands, the Sutena, the Ithkabi, which includes Bearspaw, Chiniki, and Goodstoney. We commit to advancing reconciliation guided by truths, respecting treaty laws, and humbly walking alongside First Nations, Métis, and Inuit. We recognize all who live, work, play, and make art on these lands, and who now call this place home. We acknowledge all creation guided by truth.
I was just checking the sound worked.
That's wonderful.
Isn't that nice?
Thank you. Okay, welcome to the Isle of Roux. We are going to make art with you. If you want to join us online, Rich can send you the link, and we can.
I've sent so many links out.
Share it.
Just find it right here. That should be it.
Nice. Yeah. If you're new to the Isle of Roux, welcome. We are, so we went through a gorilla house, and then we were Rumble House, and now we're the Isle of Roux. So we are an evolution of these things, and it's nice when we hear from people we haven't heard from in a long time, and we say, hey, join us on here. You can be anywhere and still join us, and I think that's really lovely. So I've been really into birds lately.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
Your voice is right next to me. I can barely hear you. So I'm hoping that you could like really send it to the back row.
Like when I answered the phone today, I was like, I used my deep, serious work voice. Like, hello. Hello.
Humana.
Doobie doo.
Yeah. So we're listening to Frank Sinatra.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. We're listening to Frank Sinatra, and he broke into the doobie doo, and we both kind of like rolled in our eyes a little bit like, is that a little bit derivative for Frank Sinatra? But then I wondered, what if that was just something he innovated on the spot?
Right, because when I looked it up, he specifically said those words because he wasn't scatting per se. He was like
Scooby-Dooby-Doo.
He was doobie. Because there was a reference to like the history of scat, but I feel like that was less scat and more just croony.
I'll put this lamp on the table. How did that change things? Is that a little blinding?
That's right.
Okay. Video call Felix Teru. Oh, hello there. Righty.
I'm gonna draw goose.
You silly. Is it lagging because it's not bright enough? Or is that just me?
No, it's good.
Your call has been forwarded.
I hate that.
I hate that.
I went blind in my left eye.
So we got mail from Michelle. we went to her beautiful birthday party the other weekend, and we were able to get some of Rich's.
I bought back
We
some
bid
of my
on some
artwork, yeah.
Rich's pieces. It was a beautiful gift to be able to bid on some of Rich's old pieces.
Actually, it was kind of a thrill.
Yeah, gift thrill. It was just very fun. And
Also, like the culture at that event was kind of like, I think people understood what bidding for art was, but it was like they weren't fully engaged in the act. So it was like, got a couple paintings out of steel. Because that's really, that was the secret Rumble House. So we there needed to be, first of all, part of it was needs, right? It wasn't as simple as just
here we can keep that.
wanting to have some nice stuff.
Thank you.
We absolutely needed to make rent every month. And I think people that, I think that desperation can be healthy sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Ta-ta.
Oh, that's a cute bug.
Volkswagen. Frugengruen? Oh, that is good.
Look at that chrome.
I know. I bought that out of habit. And now I'm looking and thinking, what a gem.
Yeah.
I think I might send this to Theo. Is Theo with us? Is it awfully quiet today?
Theo.
Alrighty. It's too soon for a video, isn't it?
Yeah.
What videos do we have?
I'm gonna.
Do I have some videos tonight?
A goose on a rock.
You
in the
silly.
middle of the river.
We're in a loop. Let's play video. I can't remember where I put them. Seems like a while since I've organized anything. Why am I singing all this stuff? My folder's missing. Here we go. Is it March 21st?
It's March 21st, and it's
Alrighty.
the 21st Roux.
Let's take a look at some flowers. I don't remember why I called it. That's not how you do that. One more time.
Yeah. Anything.
That wholeheartedly feels like it was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and also those flowers are already on the decline.
They're gone, yeah.
Yeah, isn't that incredible? How this time of year?
They were here for a good time.
Yeah, not a long time. That's why you got to really enjoy it. I feel like we really soaked up all of those blossoms. Like
We really
we
did.
took videos and photos.
But
and,
that feels like it was really long ago.
yeah, it does.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What other videos do we have? Let's get this crap out of the way.
Crap! It's so beautiful.
Oh, something tells me it's all happening at the zoo.
We went on Monday to the zoo.
Yeah, so here's a funny thing. Maybe you're wondering why we do that. And the answer is there's no good reason. It's just that I like shooting videos. And sometimes I feel like, okay, part of what we're doing here is trying to build this community of communication where we can sit and make artwork together. Sometimes, though, and this is the thing I found out recently, is sometimes some of the people who watch the Isle of Roux or also watched Rumble House are incapacitated in some way.
Mm-hmm.
So a number of our friends are watching from hospital beds. And I didn't know that. In fact, it didn't really strike me until I was talking to Kevin and I was like, yeah, man, like, do you ever watch Isle of Roux? He's like, oh, I watched it all the time in the hospital. I was like, oh, I never even thought of it. And then it suddenly downloaded into my brain how many people we know in the hospital that watch what we do.
Mm-hmm.
So I have intuitively, ever since COVID, made an effort to, whenever we're on a bike ride, or not whenever, because we go on a bike ride every day, but I do make an effort to try and share some of our travels
Adventures. Yeah.
for those whose bodies aren't traveling. And you know what? I'm expecting a tiny amount of cancel culture in July when we go to Disneyland, because everybody's canceling their trips to the United States of America. We're only going to go to the blue states, and we're only going to eat Canadian food. And we're only going to go to those places that support the kinds of people we believe in. We're going to hit some art galleries and take Felix to Disneyland. But Jess and I have not been able to take a road trip for 12 years. And if that seems indulgent, we will also broadcast it at our own risk that maybe you cancel us because we went to LA. But we're going to go to LA. And if you want to come with us, you can too. So it'll be like your dirty little secret that you didn't go to LA, but you can follow us along on our road trip. Or you can just click block, click unsubscribe.
I feel like it, yeah.
No, I think
We
like,
put things out there with love, and then people
some-
have the choice to click.
and
on
listen,
it.
I'm all for elbows up, but I also think you need to think your way through every problem. And sometimes people have like blanket solutions to problems. And actually, most of the criticism I had, well, I mean, and we decided to go long before we knew that we shouldn't go.
Yeah, we were.
But
planning.
most of the criticism I've had so far has been people that are reacting to an idea and a concept. Okay, doobie doobie doo, doo doobie doo 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 doo. There have been quite a number of people watching the Isle of Roux. More so, we're getting people watching the Isle of Roux out of time. And it used to be live, and we are live now, but a lot of people have been watching outside. I sort of feel like I'm dying to tell you about our next project, because there are 20 episodes of Lost Hero X that you can watch.
Sorry?
No, it's okay. And on our YouTube channel, it's probably the best way to collect all our stuff. But now we're starting a new adventure, and it's the Teru family going on a road trip. And we run into our friend, the Wolfman, back on Earth. Do these characters have names yet?
No,
Are they us? Rich, Jess, and Felix?
I feel like that.
Well, I mean, we're on the road now.
Yeah.
It's later than I wanted it to be.
Look, there's McDonald's. Can we get breakfast?
You know, when we get there, there's going to be lots to eat.
I am very excited to see the
I
volcanoes.
can't wait to see them either. Volcanoes, don't be silly. They're volcanoes. It's an island.
I thought it was bowling now.
There's no bowling alleys where we're going.
So we're not having breakfast and we're not going bowling?
We're going to eat so much.
Okay.
And like local cuisine that is like none other. You will be so amazed at the food we have when we get there. It's going to be amazing.
Okay.
So, are we going to...
Felix, don't even ask. You haven't been there before. It's a big surprise for you. Jess and I have been there thousands of times.
Oh.
Hey, you said something about a ferry ride.
Yeah, there'll be a ferry, but not like you think. I mean, there is a ferry, right? But lots of ferries, but Not like the seaboard fairies.
What?
Well, like wings, you know. There'll be wings on fairies.
Like,
What about mermaids?
I don't see how there could be mermaids with all the ice. They'd be frozen into blocks. Maybe there's mermaids, you know, in the, you know.
Oh, right.
Right, yeah.
are we
Okay.
going cross country?
In like the bathtub?
Cross country skiing. Don't even, where we're going, do not mention cross country skiing, because I'll
Oh, yeah.
tell you,
We'll be running
this
out
is
of
the
town.
place where, yeah, people do not look kindly on cross country skiing.
On sticks or moving.
There's no sticks either. We
Yeah,
will
there's
not
no
talk.
sticks.
Where we're going, sticks are forbidden.
Yeah.
And by the ferries, really.
Right. And also long skis are also forbidden. So
Right.
cross-country skiing is just
Right.
off the table.
Right.
What about zebra?
No, that's not okay. It scares the elephants.
Yeah.
Is there bats?
Dad? Why are we stopping?
I'm intrigued.
Me too.
Where are they going?
Theo's here.
Hello, Theo.
Hi, Theo.
Hi, guys.
How are you doing?
Not too bad. And guys, how about yous?
We're okay.
Excellent.
Yeah, I really like the new setup for the new series because you're talking about how do we have, like, I don't know, we're talking about the ideas, many ideas, and I'm really excited about this.
Here's the funny thing
New
about the
England.
new series, the Drive with the Wolfman.
Mhm.
We're going to admit this right now, so you're here with us and talking our way through how to do it. And then most people won't watch these. I mean, like some people will watch the whole 2 hours, some people watch whatever. But I'm imagining long term as we accumulate. Like we've got 20 episodes at 2 hours, like 40 hours of the Isle of Roux so far. Nobody in their right mind is going to sit and watch the whole thing. I do imagine people stumbling across this in the future, and maybe if they really think my Space Hero 10 or Space Hero X is dumb, they might go watch all 20 episodes because it only takes like half an hour to watch all the shows. The first episode of A Drive with the Wolfman had no concept. I was dying to see if the Volkswagen worked. So I had a Volkswagen with a background, and we are on our way. And all we really started out with is that sticking with the absurdist. We don't really know where we're going yet, so let's just not talk about it. And we were so ill prepared to shoot that, but it really created something maybe better than I would have scripted because it's just
Rich-
so weird.
Rich had to deal with me. I was very tired, and then when I'm tired,
Nobody ever believes you're not perfect.
I am
Don't even
like-
start down this
I
path.
get very like I can't improv. I'm tired, and so that was like the attitude.
It turned out pretty like bizarre,
natural, bizarre,
naturally bizarre,
Yeah.
didn't it? Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm excited for us to get into. That was kind of
So
like a
over the summer, we're not going to do 20 episodes series like the Lost Hero X. We're going to just do little either individual one-offs or 4 or 5 episode series, and then in the fall we'll go back to Lost Hero X. I think it really works well in the winter. Hey,
mhm. Yeah.
I'm like taking this all so seriously. It's fun.
I don't know. I like that you care about stuff.
Theo, I'm so glad you arrived. Oh, look at this opening. That's pretty funny. I'm glad I clicked
I
on
love
that when I
that,
did. Yeah. And I look crazed. Theo, when we're shooting the videos,
Yeah.
I'm like, I shoot them sometimes like in a rush off my phone, or we set up cameras or whatever. And then I end up airdropping them to my computer so I can edit them. And I did airdrop one to my neighbor the other day because we live in an apartment building. And my worst nightmare would be like airdropping the pre-cut. The very first cut of the show is just mostly like us bickering, like, I can't make up the stories all myself. I don't like the improv. It's like, you gotta stop fighting. And actually,
Well, you've got to take all of those bits that you've cut out and start a series, based on the Bickersons.
yeah. Well, luckily, I don't give a damn about my bad reputation, so that should work out. You know what else, Theo?
Nope. What else?
You can't see it because we're both wearing black shirts. And I love that my wife is so loving, but she's also a bit shoulder bumpy when we're painting.
I always love
You're like, yeah, just like you're like a cat.
I am in its entirety.
There you go.
See this green line here? That's
Yeah.
I need to respect your boundaries.
No, you know what? I love that you bump into me, and it's really a lot of what we say is stated, right? Like, it's funny. I think a lot of times people don't understand of how much we do isn't real,
or is like very,
or how much is super real,
Yeah.
and we pretend it's a joke.
and it's like
This seems kind of low res to me right now. Is that my mind? Where is my mind?
where is my mind?
No, my glasses are off. I can't help you there.
Oh, I like that. Do you ever take your glasses off intentionally for the sake of blurring?
Working on my art,
Yeah.
which is what I'm doing right now.
Oh, is it so you can see your art better, or have you ever taken your glasses off?
Yeah, it's so you can see it better.
Oh,
It's I shouldn't say better, but more comfortable anyway.
yeah.
It seems to give my hand a little more degree of control. So, yeah.
Is that blinding you? Oh, no, it's just blinding me. Here, I'll wear sunglasses.
Your future's so bright.
Yeah, but I might destroy the retinas in my eyes if I keep this up. Oh, I know.
Strangers in the night, exchanging glances.
Did you know that about Frank Sinatra?
Always at first sight.
Were you here with this deal?
Nope. What did Frank do or not do?
We're listening to this recording, and he sort of busted into Doobie Doobie Doo, and
Okay.
we're like, that sounds a little derivative, and we're both a little shocked. Then all of a sudden we wondered, like, I wonder if Doobie Doobie Doo was like something that he just originated for that song, and it became so reused that you sort of think of Doobie Doobie Doo as cliche, and it was 100% Frank Sinatra that
Specifically, doobie doobie dude.
yeah.
He was scatting. My goodness.
See, yeah, and then we were talking about like the difference between like Ella Fitzgerald scatting and then Frank doobie doobie doing. I feel has a different like vibe, like different feeling. And then because doobie doobie doo is so
Doobie Doobie Doo. Like so, Scoob, is that your hand?
like that. That yeah, totally scat, and then scat into.
Well, scat's basically not basically. It's designed to meld and riff with the music that's being played, right? Whereas Frank's just sort of putting, he's just putting a little end note on what he was doing. Yeah.
There's it's a Ray Charles song where like the song's just basically this one riff. I can't remember which song it was. I could play it for you later. And I guess what happened was when they were playing in the clubs, when he wrote this song, you had to play an hour. You got paid by the hour. So if you finished it at 50 minutes, you didn't get paid. You finished at an hour and 50 minutes, you were only getting paid for an hour. Yeah. So he had to like fake it for 10 minutes. And was it that? It's that what I? That's what I say. You know that riff and that.
Oh really?
It was just him like stretching the song out for the set out for 10 minutes. I do have this weird shadow here. That didn't help. What is?
I don't know if you can hear me, but you seem to have lost your sound.
Last week as well. Is the sound back?
There we go. Yep. Now you're back.
He's back.
Did we lose our sound last week?
You're back.
He's back.
How long was the sound gone?
30 seconds or so.
I'm a little worried about this because I think this might have happened last week and it seems to have shut off a few times. It could be that one of our Yetis is
Unhappy.
biting the bucket.
Unhappy Yeti.
Kelly, what are you working on?
I'm working on keychains, and I got a new little gadget here that I can now sand them down.
I've got a weird question for you.
Okay.
Could you move your hands kind of into the camera space so that we can see what you're making?
Yeah, you'll see it when I'm working on it here. I just haven't started.
Okay. I'm like, that's some precious screen time, and I'm just looking at a yellow drill.
It's a good drill.
Now, that said, I've just got a hand here sitting here doing nothing.
Yeah, here's all the ones I want to do.
You have to twist to get your stuff under the screen into the camera?
Uh,
Are you seated comfortably?
yeah, I am. I'm sitting comfortably.
Good.
Oh my god.
I have my tea over there. Tea's over there.
Yeah, we could broadcast your tea too if that's what you want to.
No,
There's
tea, and then there's cream and strawberries over there too. My dinner, and there's eggs over here too.
I can't tell if you're teasing me.
No, there's hard-boiled eggs right here.
right here.
I've just been painting so much. What should I paint?
Stitch.
That is not for me.
Oh, it's Disneyland.
Yeah, no, sometimes I do Mickey. Basically, if I'm painting Mickey, it's because I'm out of ideas. I'm just taking a little break from the universe.
I'm thinking of birds a lot lately.
Here, want to see what I painted today?
Yes.
And I was so proud of myself for not putting any detail in.
Oh my.
Mm-hmm. And I gave it away.
Of course you did.
It's good though, right?
It's really good.
Yeah. I don't think you could see much of it on the screen if I held it over there.
I was
Maybe it might help if I put it right side up too. Everything is upside down and backwards. So that really took all my energy not to make it more descriptive. I don't want to paint that again. It was exhausting. Maybe I'll paint something like that.
Oh, look at this.
Isn't that nice? What is it?
Fallen angels. So one of the kids I teach was talking about like the figure and how it falls. Showing the sculpture of the figures falling from.
Did you ever see the French films Red, White, and Blue?
No.
It's a trilogy.
Oh, I thought you said French. No, red, white. Wait, the no BBC blue, white, and gold. I saw.
Oh no, there's those two.
What were you talking about? Sorry, that was really.
It was like a trilogy of and I think one was like Polish and one was French and
Is it telling us that Rumble House has started? The Rumble.
I don't think that was my ding.
That was on the computer.
No, that was your ding.
Yeah.
Jess's message is for some reason are rigged up to show up on my laptop.
No, but it just says Rumble House. It is funny. Oh my goodness. What am I? An osprey again? Maybe I do another osprey. I think I sold my other ospreys. This osprey. And then I will have a big collection of my birds.
Theo, if you're going to talk to us, just unmute yourself, okay?
I really.
Who was it that we left on mute all night? Was that Theo or Abbott?
Abbott. And then he was like, oh, I was wondering because I had some good jokes and no one was laughing. And I was like, oh, no.
Lost your sound again.
Kelly?
Yeah?
Send the link to Zach Abbott. Do you have that superpower?
Yeah, I'll send it to him.
Thank you.
Yep.
Dooby-doo. I saw an eraser floating around.
Like today or yesterday?
I'm not sure. Oh, yeah.
I had several erasers out that I was going to take to school.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, I put them in my blue drawers.
Okay. Yeah, we do. Is it okay if I grab one?
Yeah.
Sometimes I just like breathing.
Oh my God, Jess.
Yeah.
This might be a bit of a stressful thing, but also tomatoes are very tasty. But I have to tell you that I've got nothing to say. I'm just trying to demonstrate what it's like for me when you tell me there's a problem, but you don't tell me what it is. Did you catch that? What I was doing?
I
there?
was so worried about like if you had an allergy.
Why?
Because you said, "Oh my God, tomatoes," and I was like,
No, like
"What did I do?"
you
Did you
go,
have a
"Oh my God,
reaction?"
this might be a little bit of a weird thing." Oh yeah, and when I was 12, I used to like to wear. I'm like, "Tell me the weird thing." That shift from like
He does
emergency.
not like prologues.
Shift from like emergency voice to random exposition through dialogue. Attention seeking behavior.
It's a psychological problem.
You do not have a psychological problem.
Yeah, that was like the fun part that we're going to be talking about with the Wolfman. Is like
Wolfman.
everyone's
Oh,
like,
yeah. Don't give it away.
I know. I'm just
Okay.
excited though. Just excited. Okay.
We're all part of the problems. And then after the Wolfman, we can do something with the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah.
Right? You're encroaching my space.
Am I?
Thank you.
I really like that.
Well, good. Because we'll probably be able to keep it since there's no more gallery to sell stuff at. This lovely young man came by today to looking for an art gallery, and it wasn't where it was supposed to be.
That would be jarring.
Yeah, right.
You're like, does he not live in Calgary?
And ask.
That wasn't judgment. It was more like,
No, I don't know.
because that would be like, it would make sense. You're like out of town.
Probably just had some other
stuff going on.
stuff going on. We have to stop singing Frank Sinatra.
I know I can't.
Do you think like we can pace ourselves that
Is that
at the end of this event tonight, could we, you and I, go for a walk?
Oh, maybe.
I just feel like today has been so much about dealing with problems.
There's a lot happening.
Yeah. Are you going to get a phone call or like maybe an email if all things go?
I think phone call because things have like
Okay.
move pretty fast. I think. I've
You
had
know, stop and smell the flowers.
yeah, move pretty fast. Yeah.
Is the mic on now?
It is unnerving when it's so quiet.
It is, isn't it?
Like, am I like what Zach was saying? It's like, is my jokes not funny? Are they? What's happening?
I can play some copyright-free music if you'd like. But it's only in 2 or 3 minute bursts.
No, it's okay. If you're still there and you're with us, that's like all of the reinforcements.
Something really weird is happening where Zach can't get in. There we go.
Oh, hello.
Hello, Zach.
Hi.
Hi. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I'm working the headphone thing.
On my tombstone, it's going to say, portrait, not landscape. Landscape, not portrait.
Oh, yeah. I got you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Look at that handsome head you got.
Look at this, Sunyan, hey?
What made you go, you had long hair.
Last week.
I had some locks. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I knew you shaved it last week, but what made you make the change in your life?
Yeah, the seasons, the changing of the seasons. It's,
Can you see?
Summer came early.
Can you see Jessica's hair?
Ooh, fancy new cut.
Does she look lovely?
Every time I see her, yeah.
Yeah, I cut her hair.
Stop.
It is so nice.
Michi cut mine.
That is so nice.
Isn't that a nice
We did.
family bonding experience?
That's the best.
And you know what you got to do when you do that? When you cut your own hair, you got to put a jar out and put like either 25 or 35 or whatever you would spend on a haircut.
Oh yeah.
Jar. Because you earned that with your humility.
Right. And that's like that's 5 cuts is a night out.
Right. Depending on what you're doing that night. Hey, guess what? Speaking of nights out, guess what today is?
What?
And it's a lot of times I change my holidays to suit the Wednesdays, but this is authentically today's the day. Guess what today is?
What's going on? It's first day, first Rumble ever.
1,000 days dry.
100,000 days dry. That's you've just been dry your whole life. How many days is that?
1,000 days dry.
Oh, 1,000. Oh, 1,000.
100,000 days dry. I will be in the artistic. I hope.
Yeah. Are you a fossil?
Kind of, but
yeah. Not like that. Not like that.
and sometimes I kind of feel like one, but
Yeah.
no, it's 1,000 days dry. And
Congratulations.
last I would say about 3 days ago was 1,000 days sober.
Oh, right.
Because I was kind of talking to Jess, like, well, we should call it dry because we've been dry for 3 years. We haven't been, been sober for 3 years and 1 week. Because it was probably like a week before we went sober that we might have got a little drunk. And I would often say to myself, well, I drink every day, but I don't get drunk anymore. That's for kids. Silly rabbit. Truth is, we got drunk a couple days a week. It just really
sometimes
seemed
you're
different.
just like celebrating Tuesday or like,
Whatever.
it's like.
Oh yeah, you gotta live a little.
Well, the thing is, like when you're
I
out
was really
partying,
good at
like you
it.
said, up and down the streets and taking over the world, it seems like you went out and had a nice out. But when you have a drink to sit down and watch a movie, that's just a simple family drink. But then, like when you realize the last 20 movies you watched, you don't know how the middle parts go,
Yeah.
or like
or the ending at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
or like just losing an entire day of because for teachers we really live for like the Easter break, the spring break, and the Christmas break, and summer break. And there was a day where she sat hunched over for the day, throwing up, and I was like, that is not a good use of our day off. I watched like a Mark Wahlberg movie while she was
Vomitous.
well, just what would we describe you as? You weren't like
A blob.
well, you were blobbing, yeah. Just hung over.
You took a picture of me. I was like a rock. I was like,
Yeah.
I am the shape of a rock now. This is what I do.
Plug.
It was because Jess and I did literally everything together. So there was one day she had to work late last month. And I watched a movie without her. And then I keep referencing this movie. And she's like, you watched that without me? I'm like, when would I do that? But I did it when she was at open house. I watched State of Grace with Sean Penn and Robin Wright Penn. Robin Wright Penn? Maybe she wasn't Robert. They probably just met then, so she probably wasn't Robin Wright Penn. Not just then.
But
then again.
one day I will watch that.
Yeah, it was really good. If I do say so.
Sorry.
Zach, I made my own indigo ink.
Oh, nice.
And I really don't want to paint with anything else. And if I was still running the Rumble House, I would very well have outsold all possibilities for blue paintings.
His blue period, his indigo period.
I'm 100% in my indigo period, but you know what?
Yeah. Yes.
Picasso had a real luxury that he could do a blue period, because when I did a blue period, it's like, guess what? Rich is paying for the rent out of his teaching salary. Because I could only ever do the same thing. Like, that's one thing I realized about even right back to the Gorilla House days is that nobody ever got to do anything twice, right? If you did something that was innovative and it kind of shocked the crowd, everybody bid on it. And
Yeah.
you do it again, no go. No one.
No,
ever.
it's yeah. It's like a really good outfit, you know. You can't.
It's kind of good to always be like,
and not for trying,
changing.
you know. I do remember
Right.
this one wood piece that was cut out and painted and then reassembled by one of our artists, and he did that.
Intaglio? What is that called? Intarsia?
Maybe. And it was a small piece, and it was really nice. And there's just a more that went up into the hundreds. And then he spent a week redoing it, but large scale, and brought it back. We're all like, whoa, if the other little one went in the hundreds, this one's going to really go. And it couldn't get a bid. And then that happened with a few people that kind of like wanted to revisit popular themes. I had a few cheats. Actually, one of them was the Volkswagen. But I was really low on rent. In the early days, I could pull off a Volkswagen and usually pick up a decent sale. And another maybe sort of kitschy thing that would sell quite well was Converse Chucks. If I found a new way to paint the Chucks. Sunglasses seem to be one as well. Certain things.
Ooh, I like doodling sunglasses. Sunglasses are good doodle.
Yeah. Can I give you a homework assignment?
Oh, okay. Oh well, I'm still behind on my CV, so just if you give me an extension on the CV, I'll take on another assignment.
You can probably chat GPT most of your CV.
Okay, doodle assignment though. I will. I'll take you on.
Do you have watercolors?
I do. Yeah, I'd like to use them more often as well.
Yeah. So take a little set of watercolors, and go sit in a cafe, and put your sunglasses on the table so that the light is casting through them. Even better if one of your funky sunglasses are like orange lenses or blue lenses, if you have some colored sunglasses. And lay your sunglasses down so the sunlight casts a beam right through the lens, and there'll be like shadow and
oh, cool.
And like sort of the effect part of it will be the effect of a little bit like a stained glass window where the color of the sunglasses is cast onto the table. And you haven't gone 1,000 days sober, I don't think. So I would encourage you to indulge in a tasty beverage.
Okay.
If you get a nice beer.
Oh, the light through the...
And you sit kind of at sunset and you let the sunlight cast through the beer in your sunglasses. I will live vicariously through this painting, I think.
Ooh, I like this idea a lot.
You know, when I quit drinking, there's a couple things I really missed. I didn't need to get drunk anymore, though I had a tendency to. But what I really missed was the fire of the bourbon going down my throat.
Yeah.
Certainly the smell and the anticipation of that first shot. Maybe I'm not helping the non-drinkers tonight. So what really would strike me was the light and the way the light would cut through a drink at sunset. And a lot of times, I think I was pretty good at waiting until the lighting was just right to indulge in pouring myself that drink. That was actually the beginning and the end of my drinking, as I'd come home from work and I could taste bourbon on my lips, on my tongue. And I was like, ooh, I think I'll have my bourbon early tonight. I'll go home. Single shot. Oh, one shot a day isn't that bad until you can taste it in the car.
Yeah.
What part of my brain knew that I was pulling into the parking lot and threw me up the taste of bourbon to swill on? And I think I'll go have a bourbon earlier tonight.
Yeah, and things like you should have gotten or should have picked up some eggs on the way, but you didn't because the bourbon was calling.
We eat well, but I would say we eat quite a bit better since we quit drinking because when we're looking at that like $30 cheese, it's like, there's a little extra space in my wallet because of, or a little less space in my wallet because all the money that I'm not spending on bourbon. But yeah, so we eat really well and guilt free.
Yeah.
And I actually bought a really nice pair of shoes. And I wanted to feel guilty about it, but then every time I start to feel guilty about spending money, I remember that I don't drink.
It helps.
And you cut your own hair.
And yeah.
Right. So some of that is like so inherent that I don't celebrate it because I started my own hair when I was 17. And if I were to add up how much money I've saved over the years, it's probably enough to buy a car. Or at least an old beat up van. And there was two reasons why I started cutting my own hair. One was because I didn't have any money. But even in times where I might have had money, I have this problem with my hair that here we go. It can be too tidy.
You're too punk rock?
No, I need to cut my own hair to have any savvy at all. Like,
yeah. Like,
so what happened was I lived across from ACAD in this tiny apartment, and you know where Loco Luz is?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so I lived right behind there, and in that little complex there was like a Taco Time and a hairdresser place. And it wasn't the kind of place that I would go to get my hair cut, but because it was right across the alley from me, it seemed like, well, I'd be incredibly vain to go anywhere but there. So I would go to this hairdresser, like Supercuts or something. And I think they were like $25 haircuts, if that sounds right. And I walked in there one day. I'd lived there for a year or two. I kind of vaguely remembered I didn't like the last haircut I got. It was a bit like, if my haircut is too tidy, it's like a Lego cap sitting on my head. Like a Lego hair, like a cap instead of sort of halfway between a cap and like what real hair would look like if like the little Lego man had hair on his head. And so I walked in and I vaguely remembered that I didn't like the haircut from the guy who was behind the counter. So I waited until he wasn't there and then went and made an appointment. And then I sat down waiting for my appointment, and the person that was cutting the hair, that wasn't the guy that kind of gave me this Lego cut the last time. By the way, his hair looked like a plastic cap that was stuck on his head too. So I don't know what he did to himself and to me, but it had always been a problem that if my haircut was too tidy, it just looked like a plastic duck click on the head. And so I remember, so I was ready for him. I saw this guy, like, that guy can't cut my hair because he can't cut his own hair. And really, it might have been like the guy he worked with that cut bad hair. But on me, he gave me this terrible haircut that, like, I think I might have went home, looked in the mirror, and was like, this is bullshit, and pulled out some scissors and messed up my hair a bit. And then I was like, oh, I kind of like that. So that's exactly 100% what happened is I needed to have badly cut hair, or else it stopped looking like hair. It looked like a something. And then paying for haircuts stopped being a thing in my mindset, right? So when was the last time you paid for a haircut?
Yeah, it's been a minute.
How about a shave? Have you ever done that?
1972.
I love that.
You know, on some level, I believe you, but here's where I call BS. You must like put it in a ponytail and cut the end off or something.
Oh, but paid
I don't get haircuts now. I get perms and a trim.
Ooh.
Oh.
When I got the haircut, it was removing all of my long hair down to a GI cut.
Okay.
Whoa.
That was the last time I went into a barber shop.
but now you go for a. I am so sorry.
Once a year, I get a perm and a trim.
I love that.
Okay. Now I'm going to try and clarify. It might be better if I just ignore it, but I think you might have heard me. I did giggle a little bit when you said perm, and it's not because you're getting.
Oh, good heavens! I don't care.
No, I'm trying to clarify why I said that. Is there was this guy Ron Weber when I was a kid that beat me up, and he had straight hair the week before he beat me up. He was in my sister's grade. I think he might have had a crush on my sister. Maybe he was beating me up for the sake of impressing my sister. I don't know. But I remember while he was beating me up. Now, there's a couple of times in my life where I lived out moments that I've seen in movies. So I think in the movie Fight Club, there's a scene where somebody's being beaten up and he just manically starts laughing. And 100% that happened to me. I was in grade 6, and this older kid was sitting on me, pounding me. And I looked up and I realized, oh, his hair was straight last week. And then it's not straight now. So I suddenly realized he got a perm, which wasn't something that was a big deal because he was a hockey player. I think a lot of the hockey players got perms. But I did picture him at that moment wearing the tinfoil in his hair, separating the pieces. And that just tickled my funny bone back in those days. And I just started giggling while he was beating me up. And then I think he kind of got weirded out and stopped beating me up. So Theo, 100,000%, I would never giggle at you getting a perm. I didn't know that you got perms, though. So you have curly hair that you perm once a year.
No, I have wavy hair, but I do get it curled once a year, just so that it holds a wave, after I shower at the very least. The longer I go between washing my hair, the straighter, wavier it's going to be. That's just the way it is.
For the last 20 years, I haven't washed my hair either, which probably sounds a little suspect. But I realized no, I didn't. I stopped washing my hair in my early 20s, and what I found was it'd be greasy for a couple days, and then after a couple days, your hair would sort of sort itself out, and you realize you don't really need shampoo. You do need to shower and rinse your hair with water. But the oils in your hair, I mean, we existed for years, thousands of millions of years before we opened up the hair salons. So now that said, just in the last 6 months or so, I have kind of changed my process, and I've been washing my hair more often because as my hair turned almost all white, I find when it gets really greasy, I start to see like pink gaps of scalp showing through. And I think that's more to do with the color than the thickness of it.
Yeah, I think so.
So I wash my hair and it turns into a big puffy mushroom on my head. And then I got to throw some like grease in it to keep it from looking like I'm in a boy band. And then after a couple of days, it kind of aches with the oil in my hair. So I wash it, and I've been using actually Head and Shoulders.
Yeah.
This is me doing a product shot. Maybe
I use shampoo and I use a conditioner when I take a shower, but for the rest of my body, I just use water and a face cloth.
Theo, can I see your head?
I guess. Let's see. Is that head enough?
Yeah, and you almost always have a toque on when we see you.
That's true, or a hat, yeah.
Yeah, because your toque is part of your look. And then
no, not really. It's just it keeps my head warm. If it's warm out, I'll probably just be wearing a tractor hat, or nothing at all. Whatever.
I can't tell you how much I'm enjoying this conversation because these are things that I don't really. I have some gaps. What was one of my gaps the other day? I was talking about something. I was just absolutely clueless. Sometimes, like pop culture, I have gaps too. Like, I've said this a million times. I meant to watch The Simpsons like next year since it started. So my friend Terry loved The Simpsons, but I was wrestling in the evenings, and I thought, well, next year I'll watch it in reruns. And then a couple of years went by, and I thought maybe I'd buy a box set of like 5 seasons of The Simpsons. And then somehow I ended up 32 years behind on The Simpsons, and I can't watch it. The Isle of Roux. There's no way to catch up. And if you haven't been watching us, then just start now.
Yeah, that's really weird about TV shows being so old. 3 or 4 years seemed like forever when I was a kid. And yeah, you mentioned the Simpsons. They're still going, and they started in like 89 or 90. I mean, that's really weird to me. But obviously, folks still get a kick out of it. So good on the writers, and yeah. And certainly because they're semi political, I guess. Certainly they comment, it's all about the human experience. They never run out of material to write about. That's for sure.
I was just admiring the 3D characteristics of your tattoos.
Oh, that's nice.
Because some parts of these tattoos are very, very raised.
Hey, Rich, I haven't cut my hair in 5+ years.
Not even just trimming the ends?
Nope. Not yet. Eventually, I keep saying I'm going to do it and I forget.
I'm quite enamored with the haircut I gave Jesse. I don't think you can see it on screen, but it's some of my finest work.
My other half, I had to go buy another shaver because he broke the other one. He does his own head.
Yeah, how long has he been shaving with the last shaver?
20 years.
I think around $30 every 20 years for shavers is a pretty reasonable price.
Yeah. So this one, the last one I bought broke within 2 months. The previous one was 20 years.
Doesn't matter. If he's been using a razor for 30 years, he's entitled to like 20. Buy him 20 razors.
Yeah. Well, it's not a razor. It's a electric thing. It's a round-looking thing, and you put it on your head, and it goes rare, and that's about it.
Is he bald?
In some spots, but
it's not like a Kojak where he's
no. He's just top of his head is bald-ish. Not really. He's got hair there, but it's thin.
I meant style bald. I wasn't asking about his.
It's stylable still. He just shaves it like an inch above his scalp.
Can we agree he's beautiful?
Yeah. Well, he's got the nice beard, which is going white. I'm pretty happy.
That's nice.
White beard with still the color in it looks pretty good.
Jess has white highlights that grow in, and everywhere we go, people maybe a little older than her look at her highlights and go, "Where did you get that done?" She goes, "No, it's just my gray." And then they always comment how beautiful it is, and then the next time we see them, we can see that they've decided to grow out their gray. I think I know 20 or 30 people that commented on liking the gray in Jess's hair, and then every time the next time I saw them, they had stopped dyeing their hair. Does that sound like I'm assuming too much?
Hey, that's why I don't.
Close.
I let my hair grow out because of Jess. Okay. I started 35 years earlier, but really it's as soon as I saw Jess, yeah, that's it.
It's solidified.
Yeah, verified the initial impulse.
Guess how old Jess was 35 years ago.
I love that. Thank you.
I'm the same way. I have the streaks. I've got the white streaks, and everybody's like, "Oh, did you get that done at a salon?" I'm like, "No, I inherited that from my grandma."
Exactly. That's it.
Somebody cute had said to Jessica last week, they were surprised that she hadn't won a spot in the 40 under 40 yet. And then Jess very sweetly said to me, "Oh, I would never have had a chance to be in the 40 under 40 if it wasn't for you, because you're more quiet and I've been pushing you in the limelight, right?"
Mm-hmm.
And then I admitted that might be true, that you might not have been in a position to be in the 40 under 40 if you hadn't met me, but 1,000%. I'm the reason you're never going to be in the 40 under 40, because I'm ornery and I twist people the wrong way sometimes.
I really mangled the foot. No,
I thought you were talking about it was good.
I was going to throw it out.
Please
I'm very
don't be
upset.
like that. No.
Can you help me with the foot?
I'm not painting your foot.
Oh.
How are you ever going to be 40 under 40 if you can't paint your own bird foot?
Like that.
I thought you were showing me how beautiful it was.
Where's my paper? Go on.
Hey, did you ever have one of those silly moments where you weren't paying attention and you almost died?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Thankfully, no.
Oh geez.
I
Yeah,
almost
me neither.
spilled an entire brand new jar of indigo on our most valuable carpet.
Close to death.
Well, not close to death, but like that was almost our investment, our life experiences. Gina is with us. Are you still with us? Gina, I'll give you $10,000 to join us on the live feed. I might not be able to pay it right away, but I'll start in installments. I miss you so much, Gina. Theo?
Yeah, yes.
I've been reading the feedback on our show backwards.
Okay. And does that mean you're reading it backwards, or you're reading it from the latest to the oldest?
No, I thought that our show was being presented to around 12 to 15,000 people a week. And I thought out of the 12 to 15,000 people that glance by our show, that 6,000 to 9,000 people were taking a moment out of their day to watch it.
And by watching it more than a casual glance, like maybe they watched, Lost Hero X and then stopped watching, or
well, you can count on the fact that there might be 50 people who watched the entire 2 hours, and maybe we need to find those people and help them put some meaningful things in their lives. But no, I'm talking about. I used to think that, say, when you put up posters for a show on street posts, and people get really excited about having a show, and then they start talking to me about putting posters up on lampposts and what are those called? Event posters, kind of things. And then the more worked up they got about these posters, like their show wasn't going to work out because their posters didn't work out, or some glitch happened, I would ask them, what was the last show you went to because you walked by a lamppost and saw an ad? Now, I stop and read posters when they're like dead cats or something, but very rarely would I be walking down the street and see a poster advertising a show and get to that show.
Yeah. Capiche?
So what I was explaining to people, it's not so much the posters that are going to get people to the show. Cheese will get people to the show more than putting up $1,000 worth of posters. Put your money into cheese and make sure your friends are hungry. They'll come by and visit you. But
free beer is another one.
Right.
For folks that still drink.
You know what sucks about free beer, though?
It's probably going to be something like Coors Light.
No, I don't mean from the drinking point. I don't mean from the drinking point of view. I mean from the point of view of providing free drinks. Do you know what really sucks?
Having to clean the bathrooms.
Well, no, but yes.
Well, it's probably highly illegal unless it's been licensed.
Sure, but getting the license and then, well, no, because if you're giving the beer away, I don't think it needs to be licensed, or I can't remember how that works, but it's different. But here's what really sucks, and it's actually, it leaves you with harder feelings than cleaning the bathrooms. Because when you have to clean the bathrooms, you're not like wounded that your friends treated you badly, but when you buy free drinks for somebody at an event, there is something that happens every single time, and it'll leave you with a broken heart.
Really?
Yeah, here's what it is. Let's say and this happened, Big Rock Brewery gave us like $1,200 worth of beer for our wedding. They just showed up with it. And a few times Jim Button would show up with like several fridges full of free beer.
Village Brewery, yes.
Yeah. But here's what happens in an event where the drinks are free. Absolutely everybody runs out and grabs a drink, takes 2 sips, because they didn't pay for it, they put it down. They look at it and they go, "Is that my drink or not?" They're like, "Screw it, they're free drinks. I'll get another one." And at the end of the night, you'll find more alcohol poured into glasses and abandoned than drank. And it's because there's an inherent situation where people are getting free drinks, they don't value them, and so they waste like 3 out of 5 drinks. And you'll find full glasses of alcohol everywhere.
All I can say to that is obviously they're amateurs.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, no, the experts are going around drinking all the half-empty glasses.
Yeah.
If you're paying for a drink and you're at a pub and you put your glass down and your friend put your glass down on the table and you turned around and talked and you look back at the table, you couldn't remember which drink was yours. You probably just pick one up and go, "I can drink out of this cup." But when they're free drinks, you're just like, "I might as well get a new one." And I've had a few events where I put on where I bought drinks for everybody. And I remember the thing that consistently hurt my feelings was how inconsiderate people were not finishing their drinks and getting new drinks and leaving half full drinks all over the place. Like, end of the night, you're like, "I'm looking at $3,000 of wasted drink right here."
Yeah, I would be crying myself, even though I didn't pay for it. And I'd probably try and remember, now that you've told me about this, should that ever happen that I have the ability to give away free drinkies, I'll have cameras all over the place seeing and everyone who puts down a drink and walks away from it and gets a fresh one, trust me, they'll never get invited to anything I ever do again. Yeah.
$2 drinks is enough to make people value the drink. Free drinks, it's like I almost think there's a compulsion to just keep getting more free drinks.
Well, see, there's the thing. Maybe free drinks gets them in the door, and then you say, "Oh no, I'm sorry, I lied. You got to pay $2. Don't want them? Fine, leave."
They're there, so then they stay.
Yeah.
Now I say all this, and then I also tell you I'm 1,000 days sober, and whenever I get a chance to talk people out of drinking, I do my best because there's so many more important and better things you can do than drink.
Well, certainly, if you're drinking, to ease your pain in life, to escape from issues and things like that, yeah, it's a good idea to not get into that habit. But then again, myself, why do I drink? I really love the tastes I really love the tastes of the drinks, beers, wines. Hell, I mean, if you give me alcohol-free drinks that taste good, I'll drink them. That's not a problem. But I found alcohol-free stuff costs even more than the alcohol ones on occasions. So, it's a thing. I suppose there's a part of my body that likes the feeling that alcohol brings, the numbing of the central nervous system. But
I love drinking.
I can't speak for anyone else but myself. I like drinking. I've always liked drinking, and I'm okay. I'm middle of the 70s now. I'm pretty sure I'll be drinking until I croak. So
yeah, I really like drinking. Did I ever tell you the story about why I actually quit drinking?
I'm not sure. Probably you have, but with my memory, it didn't stick. So fire away.
Well, there was a couple parts to it, and one of the parts was, like I said, I'd gone home and I'd experienced this moment of why can I taste bourbon on my lips?
Yeah.
And so that was my dry January. At the end of the dry January, I decided to measure my drinks a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I had been under the impression that one drink a day might even be good for you, which is a lie. But so it was the end of January, and I went and bought another bottle of bourbon. Bourbon was also part of my problem because I didn't Jones for whiskey or beer away. When my bourbon was gone, I felt like something was missing. But what I did was I measured out what I was drinking, and the first thing I discovered was I wasn't measuring properly. So where I thought it was kind of okay that I was just having no more than one drink a night, the drinks I was pouring were actually 3 drinks.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I had 2 drinks, it was actually 6 drinks, and if I had 3 drinks, it's actually 9 drinks. And that would explain why we don't remember the ending of a lot of the movies that we're watching. So the first thing I did was I started managing the size of my drinks, which actually took a lot of the joy out of drinking, because you pour like a single shot of bourbon and it just looks like the bottom of the glass is wet. Like, where's my drink?
That's right.
And if you can see there's some bourbon in the glass, it's actually a triple. So that was stage 1. And from the time that I decided to do a better job of managing my drinking to when I actually got my drinking under control was about 5 years, where I could just have one drink of bourbon and then I wasn't living for it the next day. But the truth is I was pacing myself so that I could drink until I'm like in my late 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And I was having a conversation with Oliver about maybe drinking less or doing less of whatever he was doing. And he said, "Hey man, I have a plan here. I'm going to be really responsible because I want to do this until I'm in my 70s." And he used, I think, Theo, I said 73.
Yeah.
That was as old as a person can get. But I'm being careful with my words now, because are you near 73?
Well, I'm 3 years past it, actually. So,
right. So
there you go.
I also talk about people in their 40s being like old, and I'm well past my 40s.
Well, yeah. You know,
but I still think of
well, I mean, it's just so natural to observe, 2021, when I was 2021, 40 was, 40 was an elderly person, not terribly elderly, but, way, way, way more life experience than I.
Right.
And, an old person, my grandparents and things like that, they were old, and of course, a few of them, my mom's dad in particular, well, he was still getting pissed, which he'd been doing his entire life.
Right. Well, when my son said he wanted to manage his behavior until he was 71, I think was the year, I realized it was a very familiar statement, and that I had been modeling the behavior of managing my drinking so that I could continue until a certain age. And I just wanted to set a better example. So I ended up writing him a letter saying, "Look, this really sucks because I got my drinking under control, but I also realized that I've been modeling to you this idea of wanting to be a social drinker my whole life." And and then it wasn't until after I quit drinking that Felix had confided that he didn't like when we would get drunk. We figured he didn't know, but he did.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's not something that any observant kid's not going to pick up on.
Yeah, so I joke about getting drunk sometimes, and Felix like, "No, Dad, no."
Yeah, exactly. Way to go, Felix. But well, it's funny. Like. I never smoked through my whole life. I tried it a couple of times when I was a kid, didn't like it. And then when Linda and I broke up, I started smoking. And my kids, they were 8 and 11 at the time. They weren't overly enamored of that. But I didn't think too much about it. But thankfully, both of them never took up the practice. So, way to go. I can't take the credit for that. It will have to go to Linda because she's never smoked. So,
when was the last time you had a cigarette?
The last time I had a cigarette, let's see, that would be Saturday.
Oh.
I smoke OPs. I have a friend who's, bound and determined to die smoking, and I just enjoy the odd cigarette with her when I visit her. Yep. Because that's one thing that smoking has been since its inception. It's a social act. If you're doing it by yourself all the time, which unfortunately my friend also does, it's a habit that you wanna really quit. But lots of folks just don't want to do that because it is a hard thing to do. Same as alcohol. I mean, do they have Smokers Anonymous? Because I'm sure it's kind of the same thing. And it would probably be even worse if they do have something like, I'm here on Smokers Anonymous because last week I hacked up part of my lung. That's a little different than I puked my guts out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Theo, is that a metaphor, or did you hack up part of your lung?
No, so far in my life, I've been my body has been good to me, considering that I occasionally abuse it. And that's genetics. Like I say, my grandfather, up until the age of 80, drank like a fish, and then his heart just stopped. Oh, and he smoked as well, by the way. And his wife, my grandma, she didn't do any of those things. So where did the good genes come from? I don't know. But yeah.
Some of it is we intentionally disable ourselves to show how inherently powerful our genes are. So to impress the early cave women, I would, ride a woolly mammoth after eating the fuzzy berries under the tree.
Yeah.
Function after eating the fuzzy berries, I was indicating my my virtue by
your suitability for passing on your genes. Yes.
Yeah. I could have easily just walked off one of my arms to show how virile I was with just one arm, or possibly gouged out one of my eyes, but instead I went and ate the funky berries into the tree.
Well, I think the folks that do those kinds of guys, masculine demonstration things. The drinking one is the one that survived to pass on genes. The lopping off of the arms, basically meant you bled out, and it didn't really make a difference. But unless of course you just and before you bled out, you got lucky.
Quick, fast.
Quick, yeah. Just if I can get off before I die, my genes will be strong. Yeah. Oh, and don't let the kid drink, for God's sakes. Okay. Yeah.
Oh man.
I was just showing Jessie some shoes that I think she should get. Tell me what you think of these.
Shoes. Ooh. Shoe porn is that's pretty racy stuff there, Rich. You sure you want to start doing that now? The show is supposed to be for all ages, isn't it?
I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah, I know you don't. Oh, okay. Yeah, no danger there. Yeah, those are perfectly acceptable. Middle class wear at home kinds of shoe thingies. I think they're called slippers, aren't they? Or are they shoes? Do you wear them outside?
They're like shoes that are kind of leather and made after slippers. So like a high-end slipper that you could wear to
to show how hip you are. Exactly. Yeah. Definitely.
Well, we quit drinking, so we got to buy something.
Yeah, you got to find something else to spend money on. You could all become mail artists, mail shit all over the world, because you do big stuff. So that's expensive right there.
I'm going to mail you this little book.
Oh, it's too big. It's too big. But if you do mail it to me, I will probably do what's called euphemistically art destruction, and cut
What
it
are your
into.
sizes? I think this is within your size range.
What? Pardon? What size range? What shoe size do I wear? Did you ask? Or no. For my biggest book of stuffs right now are half page. So five and a half by quarter. Boop, 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 boop.
Mm-hmm.
8.5 by 5.5. Excuse me. Yeah.
I think you're assuming this is bigger than it is.
Well, that looks like it's going to fit right up to the edges of my biggest ones. So 5.5 by 8.5. That might be less. It might go down. Yeah, could be. It's a car. I like cars, you know. And what's the white door?
Just
The little white door on it. Just an added, had to go to the junkyard and get another door because this one got buggered up, and
I would say that it's an illusion that you're seeing on screen because
really,
in person the door and the hood, these two colors
are the same. Really,
it doesn't.
Yeah, no. The door is standing out bone white compared to the hood.
I see that on screen, but I'm looking at it in person and it doesn't stand out as a
Okay, all right.
Kind of gives you an idea how deceitful this camera is.
It is. It's terrible. Bad camera.
Liar.
Yeah.
Well, this is our good camera, and our good camera is small right now. Let me put the good camera.
There we go. Hey, is that jar of stuff your blue ink?
Yeah.
That you made?
It's more of a water. We haven't decided what it is.
It's watercolor. We use gum Arabic to make
it. Is it a watercolor or gold?
Here's let's see. I was needing to replenish paint, and the big blue there. The tube had turned solid, so I was forced to cut it open and peel all of the paint out because that's just the kind of person that I am. I might have paid $8 or $9 for that tube. There's no way I'm going to throw it away. And so it's that section of the tray is pretty much full of, I think it's ultramarine. And I've been using ultramarine in a variety of ways. Now, here's one. This is a small one, but vertical linear skies. Is that even registering? There you go. Yeah. And that's on a postcard. So I just did another one, same thing, on one of my big pieces, which is 14 by 11. And I've just been playing with blue of late. And as a result of, I've got to make some room in there so I can actually get a brush in and some water.
Is your blue, what medium is your blue?
Oh, these are all watercolors that you see on the trays. Yeah, they dry out. I got to keep them watered. I don't water my plants, but I do water my paints. So, yeah. There's nothing like being a highly impractical artist. Yeah. Actually,
practical artists are annoying.
Well, I'm sure they are, I'm going to be submitting. I just got the thing for Connections 25 over at Roberto Osberg. So I sent in my 2 paintings for them to decide whether they like them. Last year, my 2 paintings didn't get selected, which is fine, but they were supposedly criticisms, which was this work is poor, and no clarification of why it was poor. So, and I know my stuff, you can say lots of things about it, but poor is not highly truthful. So anyway, one of my paintings this time is going to be is probably going to annoy a couple of the judges because it's basically it's a vertical painting and it's cut in half. there's color in the lower half, and it's just white and ink on the top half.
I'll show you before.
I'll see. I'll be curious to see if I get any comments on that about my poor choice of composition and all of that stuff. So it's fun.
I do like that.
I don't know those people.
It's okay.
I think we met them once, but they seem nice enough. But
Anna and Mitch are nice folks. They're not the judges. They get other folks in to do the judging, and that's to be expected. I offered to be a judge this year, but they didn't ask me, so oh well. Oh yeah, my stuff's good. That goes automatically in. Yeah, because I'm not biased. No.
Well, I'm concerned about these judges that told you your work was poor.
Well, it is what it is, and subjectively, I imagine my stuff was poor to them, but I would have liked more than just, well, it's poor. I want an objective criticism. Thank you. Clarify the meaning of poor for you in regards to my work. I think if you're going to do that, if you're going to put down such a strong statement, you should back it up with a few observations. That's all. Other than, well, I just hope this pisses the artist off, in which case they were extremely successful, so good on them. Yeah. So anyway, 2 more paintings shall go into connections, and we'll see whether they pass muster this year.
For a second there, I thought you said tumor paintings.
Oh yeah, tumor paintings. No, I'm not. I'm really not into doing a medical illustration. It's too icky.
That's a good answer for telling you your paintings are poor, though. Next year I'll send you tumors.
Yeah. No, but yeah. Well, I just like making. Oh, and we're supposed to be sending in an artist resume or statement, so I'll be doing a statement as well, which is going to be well, I'm going to have fun with it, and it will actually be an original. So, as opposed to just a typewritten. I want to save the world with my paintings, and I'm exploring the dichotomy of cartoons and fine art painting, and all of that stuff. Yeah, I don't do art speak very well, so I just figure I'll just make as usual, a joke of it.
In 2011, Belinda Fireman came into the gallery to put up a show.
Mm-hmm.
And she provided us with an artist statement. And Elijah, who was helping me hang the show, said, "Wait, do we need artist statements here?" And I was like, "No, that's why we opened the place. So we wouldn't have to have stupid artist statements." And then I go, "But you have one, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, no, I haven't written one in a while." He's like, "Do you got one?" I'm like, "No." So we each had typewriters, and we like retreated to our studios to each write
compose an artist statement. Oh yes.
Now I finished slightly before Elijah. About 20 minutes later, Elijah came upstairs with his artist statement, and it spoke a lot like you were just talking about, but I think his is a little dark, like I am death and I am to paint da 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 da, and like it was very gothic. His.
There you go. Yeah.
Mine was really short. I'll write it for you now. Maybe you could tell me what you think artist statements are for. They're to apply for grants?
Yeah, basically an artist statement is something to prove to the powers that be that you are a serious artist and not just someone who does cartoon landscapes and likes to make people smile. And, that's just the way it is. I actually don't have a problem with that because I never worry about, getting grants or getting put in shows. I don't need.
Okay, so you write an artist statement to say why you should get grants or what your show is about, or
Yeah.
that the people know.
And then you have to do everything in art speak, because all of the people that judge these things only do art speak. So yeah.
This is my artist statement.
I am the best artist. Well, there you go. Yeah.
What's my show about? I'm the
Mm.
best artist. Why should you give me the grant? Because I'm the best
I am
artist.
the best artist.
You come and see my show because I'm the best artist.
Yeah, but it's just like me with the people that said, "Well, this work is poor." You're gonna have to qualify that somewhat, clarify the best part.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you gotta. If you're gonna apply for grants and stuff like that,
I don't apply for grants, and I don't.
I know, so we can get away. We can do this kind of stuff, and that's very freeing.
I know, but I don't ever have to do that, and that's actually probably all the big fights I had at Gorilla House or Rumble House was when people asked me to come and take part in something, and I said sure, and then they said just write me a proposal. I'm like, I'm not writing you a proposal, and so 2011 I wrote I'm the best artist, and it's the last time I ever compromised on anything.
There you go. I like the guy.
Thanks.
The best artist from a calligraphic standpoint, it's a little, well, it's hurried, whereas the guy, while being hurried, is very concise and precise.
It's not hurried. I took my time.
Yeah. Whatever. So here I am being subjective and complete asshole.
I'm the best artist.
Yeah, I know. I take it. Even though you are the best artist, the calligraphy is lacking something.
No,
Maybe it's just lacking color. That's it. Yeah, you need a little dab of color in there. Maybe a little outline on. Yeah, you do.
It reminds me of Ralph Steadman.
No, it doesn't.
Is he pushing it?
I like it, and the hand should be saying, if you don't like my work, leave through that door. Yeah.
I gave myself permission to never have to listen to any of that stuff.
Okay.
And then the next permission came when we went to Venice Beach.
Yeah.
And, I met this guy who knew Picasso.
Yep.
And he gave me a little pep talk. And after that, I'm just like, okay. Actually, and to tell you the truth, Theo, you did indicate there that in truth, maybe I'm not bad at art. And I appreciate that. But at the point that I started believing that, I had to get rid of this artist statement. Because when I wrote it, I didn't feel like I was the best artist. I was being an asshole.
Well, then, you were being confrontational.
Yeah, but then over the years, as I started to gain and accumulate a little bit of status, I had to erase this thought because it was ironic when I wrote it. And then as my confidence grew, I realized this is starting to misrepresent me because I thought it was obvious that I wasn't serious when I wrote I'm the best artist.
Uh-huh.
But then as I got better, I'm like, I'm not the best, but I know I'm good. And when I started thinking I'm good, I realized this was very obnoxious.
Well, now you should just do it. I am and then do artist in all caps with many exclamation marks after it. That's the path. That's a path in the right direction.
What I did was
I am an artist.
What I did was a TEDx talk where I said everybody's an artist.
Yeah.
So after giving a TEDx talk about everybody being an artist, if I wrote I am an artist, it would be redundant.
Well, that's true, but you could do it colorfully, with all caps and exclamation marks, because everyone knows on the intertubies that's how you say that you are totally correct.
I got in some heat a week or two ago because I wrote something and I think people weren't really reading it carefully.
Oh, sorry.
And I got some lectures because somebody was writing about they couldn't understand how conservatives could be artists, because they assume that artists are sensitive and thoughtful people. And I believe a lot of us are sensitive and thoughtful people. But at the same time, there's a number of people that just make art as a hobby because they have, all their needs met, and that's just what to do with their time. So I wrote in response, and I thought I was being supportive. I wrote, well, art can be a bit of a privilege, meaning that if you have the time and the money to do it, it can be quite a privilege to make art.
Exactly.
I got some backlash from people, I think, that were assuming different things about me, that kept explaining that art's really important and art's life and death. And I was like, wow, I guess we're having a slightly different conversation here. But I ended up, and I didn't compromise on what I'd written, because I still think truth is you'll die if you don't eat food, and you'll die if you don't eat, if you don't breathe. But if you stop making art and die, that's more of a metaphor. It's more like it's as though you die.
Yeah.
You might as well die. But the truth is you don't physically die from not making art. I know lots of people that never make art, and they're still not dead. Truth be told, they can live a long, long time.
Yep.
Smothered to death by their...
Tickled to death by their importance.
Okay, I'm going to ask a favor of you.
Anything. The answer is yes.
You can send me that painting, and because I have to put color with those words. I'm sorry.
I would love to send you this painting. Do you know how to get it for free?
Yeah, it has to be for free.
No, but you know how you get it is you send me a.
I will return it with my my take on I am the best artist, but improved.
Sure.
That's all.
See? I'm not unreasonable.
Yeah, there you go.
I will send it to you.
No. I've never thought you've been unreasonable. Good heavens, no.
Is that sarcasm? Is he being?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's sarcasm. Sorry.
You know what? Being unreasonable would imply that it's very difficult to reason with me, and that's fair, because running the Rumble House meant I had to be inflexible.
Oh no, you are a very good at being a political animal.
I'm good at being inflexible, I think. Is that what we're saying?
No, you're good at being a political animal. You can argue your stance quite well and not kill the other person. That's called politics.
Yeah.
It was politics is by its very essence a dirty game.
Yeah.
And you have to be prepared to fight for what you wish to achieve.
Yeah.
And
I was a regular at the Rumble House, was like and it often came down to things like we were invited to do this event. They were going to give us $10,000 to do one evening of Gorilla House at this space. And I had arranged for a number of the artists I was working with to get paid in exchange for, I just wanted some easels.
Mm-hmm.
This comes back to the person I was dealing with. It was like, sounds great. Deal's packed. Just have the proposal written up and on my desk by Monday. I'm like, oh no, I'm not writing a proposal. And he was like, yeah, you are. We need the proposal to get the $10,000. I was like, I don't need $10,000. Like, I don't need any of this. If you don't want me to do it, don't ask me, but I'm not writing a proposal. I was like, well, I just need a proposal for the investors. I'm like, well, here's what you do is you get yourself a pen, you write the proposal, and you can have it on my desk by Monday. And we got in a kind of pissing battle about who's going to write the proposal, but I opened Gorilla House so that I wouldn't have to write artist statements unless I wanted to.
Yeah.
And I opened the Gorilla House so that I wouldn't have to write proposals. And I will carry an elephant to your house if you say, hey, Rich, we're carrying elephants on Saturday. But if you ask me to write a proposal to eat a chocolate bar, I will not do it. Like, I just do not like doing the told. And I did all that work so that I could not have to be told anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry the guy that was wanting to have you to write the proposal didn't write one for you. He should have.
He stuck his foot in his mouth at a different point, and he and I had to have some words.
Yeah.
But I gained a friend out of it.
Oh, well, that's good.
And he wrote me a letter. This is how I met Mark Vasquez, and it wasn't Mark Vez, but in defending Mark Vasquez's honor, Mark and I became true friends. And
oh my God, thank you. This looks amazing.
He ended up being the best man at my wedding.
Yep.
And the other friend that I had this discussion with wrote me a letter saying, Rich, it is not very often that a person's life-changing event is shepherded with such grace after he kidnapped me.
That's good. Yeah.
But that's a longer story, and it's kind of uglier than it needs to be, and it was filled with beautiful people that had some misunderstandings, and I quite love them all now. But
Excellent.
politics is probably the right word. Do you know that my ex-father-in-law offered to back me if I wanted to run for Ward 8?
Oh, yeah. That's interesting. Well, you know, someone that I know personally has thrown his hat in the ring, Mike Atkinson.
Yeah.
I think he's running for Ward 7. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It's not my ward. That's all I know, unfortunately. I have, unfortunately, Sean Chu in my ward. And he'll probably get elected again because folks
Well,
like
something bad were to happen.
Yeah. Anyway,
Love it.
Pretty.
it has been a long day for me, so I am going to. What you doing?
Look at that pigeon. I painted it.
Do you know the dance?
We're not seeing it.
Oh,
I'm gonna switch it over.
Okay. Oh, I wasn't looking. Oh, pigeon. Yeah, there we go.
Doing
All
that
right.
pigeon.
Pigeons. Yeah.
Pigeon.
Yeah, that's one of mine. You know, I've got about 80 of them that feed at my place.
I love pigeons.
Yeah, I love all birds.
We had to concrete the bottom of the Rumble House because somebody used to spill bird seed out on the grass next to the Rumble House, and the pigeons lived there, and they would pick away at the bottom
Of the gallery.
stucco of the gallery.
Yeah, the men.
Yeah, they're not. Well, you know, they like little stones to help aid their digestion. Yeah, it's a bird thing.
Have you ever had a bird as a pet?
As a pet, no.
It is a weird pet, right? Because they should be out flying around.
Well, you know, if you have, you know, I know folks who have you know, parrots and things like that, and they pretty much have, you know, run of the house and they fly around. And I know some other folks that have birds that you know, they live with them, but they go out and fly around all the time, but they always come back. So it's an interesting concept.
I was in the pet store that was in North Hill Mall, and I rarely went in there, but I went in the back one day and I saw like hundreds of budgies in this cage. And I remember thinking, that's not right. And I also thought, I don't want to support these people because they're not taking care of the budgies. But this one budgie caught my heart, and I thought I could rescue one budgie.
Oh.
And so, you know, in terms of like buying a puppy from a puppy mill to try and save that puppy doesn't help future puppies, but I did buy this bird. I named her Charlie. And she kept me company when I wrote my first book. And I used to let her fly around the apartment, and I would have to sort of catch her mid-air to put her back into the cage. And so Charlie lived with me for a while. Charlie the budgie. And when I would type on my Apple C Plus, does that sound like a briefcase computer? Apple IIc, an Apple IIc.
An Apple IIc, yeah.
The clackety keys, the big ones. Charlie thought I was talking to her, so whenever I would type, she would peep at me, and then when I'd stop typing, she'd stop. So we had conversations while I was typing.
Good stuff.
850. All right, Theo, before you go, give me one more idea to paint. Pirates? Okay, I'll paint pirates.
No, I was thinking a cute little, you know, fuzzy dog that looks like it stepped on a live wire. You know, so it's basically a giant puffball. Yeah. There you go.
Something, Theo, before you go.
I tried, you know.
You reminded me of something, though. We have another video to share, and it could be a little puppy. Can you imagine if you took a light bulb and you walked out into a field and just held the light bulb up and it came on? Would that be weird?
No. I actually know a couple of artists who do stuff like
so
that.
we're going to take this light bulb and we're going to go look at these power, what are they called?
Power lines?
Power lines. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're careful, you could hear them buzzing.
It is really loud. And we're doing it in the rain, so that makes it less.
Galen told me this would happen. I did not believe him.
My toes are getting wet.
Your toes are going to get wet.
Yes. This is not a good thing.
Look at.
Whoa. It lit up and we can get it on camera.
Okay, so is it right here? Is it still recording?
He's glowing a little.
Hey, I got it. It's videotaping. Alright. We die. Everybody will know what happened now. Maybe
Let's go to the other one. Can you see it on the screen? Yeah, I've got an idea. Oh, it's also fun touching it. What do you mean try it? It happened at, no, you're not tall enough. Oh yeah, you are.
I'm falling out.
Okay, let's go, probably pushing our luck there. Let's get it. Okay, you got something in? Yeah, so I just
Cool.
held the light bulb up and
Yeah.
kind of like, I don't know if it needs to charge or if it needs to be in the right spot, but it would come on and you'd trying to pose the camera and then it'd come off but then we finally did get the camera on the bulb as it was buzzing.
Yeah. That's neat.
Yeah.
Oh, Our Lady of Liberty.
Give me your
huddled masses.
What does it need? What's it need?
It means that you're a Trump fan.
No. No. She doesn't have anything to do with Trump.
There's a rumor going around that it's actually a sculpture of the devil.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's all kinds of rumors going around, precipitated by people that have the intelligence of a dead snail. They just happen to be smart enough to not kill themselves when they access the internet. There's a lot of that going around. I'm going to leave now, guys. Love you.
Love you.
Zach, you will not believe what we're doing at the movie theater soon. At the Science Center, in fact. Guess what? I want to see a movie at the Science Center.
Which one?
Jesse will tell you.
Alan Watts. It's going to be on the
Yes.
the big Globe Cinema, and it's Alan Watts' film that they're showing at the Science Center. You know what?
Yes. I'm jealous. I'm very jealous.
Well, it's probably going to be in your Vancouver Science Center as well, because those things tend to rotate that way.
I think we missed him. I think he's going that way.
Yeah. Okay.
I think so.
Why don't you hop in a plane and get some student standby or something?
Oh, that's not a bad idea. When is the show?
June 21st. That week.
Oh, end of June. Oh, okay. Okay. Do you think he's sold out?
I'll buy you a ticket.
Okay.
You're going to be here.
I'll talk to my my Flair Air connection and see if she'll hook me up some standby. End of June. And was Penticton last week a real invite? Should I get organized for that?
I have to work on that.
My life is made up of a bunch of maybes.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. I'm cool. I'm fluid, man. Yeah, like we're playing the game. We're having a ball.
Yeah. I said yes, but it might have been, sometimes also people have ideas and they don't really have control over those ideas. So somebody might have said, hey, you should have a show. And I'm like, I'm open to that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting to hear back from them. But 100%,
cool.
If I go, you go. Deal?
I'm interested. Yeah, please. Yeah. Yes, please.
The best show I ever had was, in terms of being excited about something, was Richard from Illinois had purchased a bunch of my pieces and then informed me that he'd been waiting a year to have a show at this gallery cafe in the town he lived, and that he was exhibiting his work and my work as a group show, which I was like super amazed by. And so on a whim, Jesse and I bought tickets to go see the show. And because of the timing of things, we were only able to get there in time for the closing of the show. And then it also so happened that after we booked our flights, that the gallery cafe was closed that week. So they came and opened it for us to go in and see. But we flew to Illinois to see my artwork. And then when we got to Richard's house, it was pretty magic because he had my art all over the floor. Like, flew out there, and he had like 70 paintings on the floor. I was like, I think I misunderstood. Like, I don't think he hung my show. I think he's having a show because clearly my artwork's all here, sitting kind of around his house. And I was kind of embarrassed and didn't want to make a big deal out of it. And then it wasn't until that we went and saw the show that I realized not only did he have about 70 of my pieces kicking around the house, he'd also taken around 14 of my pieces and about 14 of his pieces and put together the show at the cafe. So I guess when I was at his house, I'm like, well, there couldn't possibly be more art than this. And then I got to the show, I was like, ooh, there's so much more art. And then the other thing is, after the show, one day he went upstairs, he started pulling down he kept his prints and flat paperworks in these big flat cardboard boxes and piles upstairs. And he started pulling out these pieces from his special stash that had things like Shepherd Fairies and Basquiat's and all kinds of RuPaul, all these crazy posters. And intermixed in those boxes was a bunch of my paintings that I'd also forgotten about. So it was pretty magical all around. I saw what you were doing and I felt kind of inspired to steal your idea, but I didn't want to be competitive. So I painted a Venus here. Zach, can you see?
Nice.
That's me jonesing on your Statue of Liberty.
All good. No, thanks for sharing the space.
Right. Are you really painting that because you think it's the devil?
Oh, cool. No, I think something about I was doing sunglasses and the sunglasses like turned into this when we were talking blue period. So I think the blue period's involved. And then, it kind of had this it has this kind of black rusty patina, kind of rusty brass. And I was like, oh, that's the Statue of Liberty. And I'm just horny for that new narrative that it is very, very similar to this other sculpture. that happened to portray, that guy.
I never
Uncle
buy
Beasley.
I never buy into those stories. I'll tell you why. And you should be cautious of this too. You and I are going to die, and then people are going to make up stuff about us
Oh shit!
right. And so
got this anti-American hit.
No, but every time somebody tells me a story about, oh, this is Michelangelo painting himself as a woman, I'm like, maybe were you there? Like, I don't partake in those stories because I don't want those stories to spread about me. And I'm hoping that, like, after I'm dead and people go, oh, do you know that this painting Rich did was actually a painting of the Kool-Aid man breaking through a wall? I'm hoping people that go, Rich actually didn't support naming things after he died. Those were supposed to be his space. Kind of like how Theo kept saying to me, like, oh, you have to do this. I'm like, no, I don't. That was the whole point of Rumble House, is that I never have to do that again.
Yeah.
Nothing.
No, that's nice. I remember hearing just eavesdropping, trying to absorb some of you, like, this is guerrilla days. Just like totally a dream. But you said somebody asked you for, like, to make a submission. Oh, you should submit to this and you're like, I don't submit to anyone. And it was like, whoa, no, we mean like an art submission. And you're like, it's just like too close of a word. I'm not doing that. And I was like, oh.
What if I'm not submissive? That's what.
Yeah, there it is. It was.
But I like the way you said it. That's how I'm going to say it from now on. I don't anyone.
Yeah, I mean, that's it's a little heavy metal of me, but.
Zach, does your family ever go to church?
Rarely.
Is it the kind of church where people kneel?
No, I don't think so.
Little kneelers where we work, and you got to kneel. And
I
have to talk myself into that every time. Something about Rich Roux that doesn't like to kneel for some reason.
Yeah. You kneel to somebody. You're a married man.
Actually, that's not true. It's true that I'm married. It's worse. It's so much worse than you think. So what happened is it was my birthday, and it was the second year in a row that Jess had surprised me by singing me a song on the roof. Only this time she had purchased a ring, and she was going to propose to me. And so we're on the roof in front of everybody, and I'm just giving her a hug because it was sweet that she sang me a birthday song. And she knelt down, and proposed, which doesn't bother me. It didn't emasculate me in any way. But I literally picked her up by the elbows and carried her to the dark side of the Rumble House roof. And I was like, dude, never kneel. Never kneel. Like, I'll marry you. I don't think I even said I'll marry you. I was like, don't kneel. Like, that's not okay. And I was like, I wasn't mad at her, but I was like, my brain can't see you kneeling. It's not copacetic to the situation. And then we talked about this funny story several times, and then somebody said, well, I hope you said yes. And I was like, well, I don't know that I actually did say yes, but I figured it was implied. And so, yeah, it turns out Jess proposed to me, and she knelt. And I wouldn't say I scolded her for it, but I did talk her out of it. I'm like, this isn't part of how we interact. You don't kneel for me, ever.
Nice.
So it's funny you should say that, because that didn't happen that way.
Yeah.
I'm nothing if not consistent. That's one of the things that I kind of hate, and can live within myself, is that I'm pretty darn consistent. And that would be another thing that I'm kind of discovering now that the Rumble Gorilla House days are over. It's like this thing where we had a chance to go and bid on some of my works, and they're pretty consistent. They're kind of, I've been doing pretty good work for a while. I sometimes look at my work from 10 years ago and think like, oh, I haven't really grown very much. Sometimes I can see that, like, I've learned some new things, but what I'm doing now isn't better or worse than what I was doing 10 years ago. So maybe that's also one of the reasons why I stopped doing what I was doing, is I don't want to use the word peaked because that's a really ugly word, but I got where I needed to be with painting a while ago, and now I'm doing something different with painting. Trying to use painting as a way to communicate.
I was going to say,
bring
the
people together.
storytelling is so beautiful.
Yeah. I had a friend reach out to us tonight. He'd gone to the Rumble House and there was nobody there. And I hadn't not anticipated this being a disadvantage of us going on Wednesday nights. Is it will probably happen again that somebody shows up at Rumble House with the intention of being there, and we get a call and it's like, "Hey, where's everybody?" It's like, "Well, there's a barbershop there now," and so I ran down to meet him while we're setting up, and I really didn't feel like I could. We haven't set up a way to have guests come in while we're broadcasting, so I kind of said, "I'll see you in a bit," but I felt like I'd abandoned him a bit, and it was an interesting experience to hit Wednesday and have somebody phone up and go, "Hey, I'm standing outside. Where's the event?"
Do you feel like you would get like would you set up for guests? Is that something in your on your horizon?
What happened with that is from June last year until December. So for 6 months, the semi-full-time job and fitness activity of Rich and Jessica Teru was removing, I say 60, but it's probably 100 dumpster loads of stuff out of that space.
Yeah.
I think 60 dumpster loads went into the storage, and 10 dumpster loads came into our home, and 30 dumpster loads went to the
dumpster.
And it was we had 6 months to move out, and I was like, we need to fill a dumpster this weekend. And Jess is like, don't we have like 6 months to do it? I'm like, how many dumpster loads do you think are in the gallery? She's like, I don't know, 60. I'm like, how many weeks are left between now? Like, so if we fill the dumpster every week for the next 6 months, we might be close. And so there's more stuff in our home. Our home's probably overrun by about 20%. There's 120% of stuff in this house, and we need to get it down to 70%, and then we'll have room for guests. It's not messy, but it's cluttered here right now, and it'd be uncomfortable having guests in. But I think once we declutter the apartment a bit, it'd be amazing to have more people sitting at this table and interacting.
That's nice,
especially if you're coming from out of town. And I would 100% have had this guest in tonight, somebody that I liked and trusted. But sometimes having that boundary up that nobody's coming in right now is a better solution, because let's say you came by and I had you on set, but then somebody that, used to Oscar Mall shows up. I'm like, maybe we're a bit full tonight. There was a friend of ours that got hammered, and I think he must have just pulled it out and spun and peed all over the bathroom at Rumble House. And that was traumatic, but in my apartment, that would be too much. So do you know what one of my weird boundaries at Rumble House was?
What?
I never shared my phone with anybody. And people would often come in with these kind of stories, and there's kind of a hustle because you hear the same hustles all the time. But my phone battery's out. Can I just use your phone? I'm like, no, I don't. I don't share my phone. I'll feed you dinner. I'll give you space to work. I'll drive you somewhere if you're desperate, but I don't share my phone. And I remember Steve was helping us put on this event, and he's like, "Oh, don't be silly." And he hands his phone to this person, and there's a couple things. By the time that you don't have a phone, some things have gone wrong in your life usually. And one of the things is you've got somebody in your life that won't answer the phone. So a lot of times when people go, I need to borrow your phone, the problem is they need to phone somebody who's blocked them. And so now they're on the phone and they're screaming and they're having like a meltdown fight, whoever's on the other end of the phone. And you're suddenly they're like, hey, can I kind of have my phone back? And it's super uncomfortable because they're having this fight. And so it gets to the point where Steve goes inside and the lady just walks away with his phone. It's like, you 100% did that to yourself. And there's a number of hustles where it's just, if you live downtown, it's best not to share your phone with anybody. And I would just say, like, that's my boundary. It's a weird boundary, but if I let you use my phone, then I got to let everybody use my phone, and so I say no to everybody about the phone.
So on a side note, I'm actually doing Sea Space on Saturday at Marta Loop.
What are you doing there?
Vending outside. So I got a tent and everything.
How much? Do you mind if I ask? Is that a personal question? Can I ask? Like, do you have to pay for that, or
Careful.
Yeah, it was $55, I think.
$55 to put a table up?
Yeah, and then you have to bring your own tent and weights and all that stuff.
Yeah. Do you have a tent?
Yeah. And sides in case it does rain. And weights. That I think I overfilled them. They're 50 pounds each. And we lost your sound. There, you're back.
Is your tent a professional vending tent?
No, it's a camping tent.
So Calgary has a bylaw that you have to have a tent with a special.
With the fire rating, I know.
Yeah, and it's about $2,000 for one of those tents, or you can
Yeah.
rent them for around $500. And you can probably get away with your camping tent for a while. But what might happen is at some point, either the event that you're at might insist that you show them your
Fire retardant thing.
there's a sticker on the tent.
Yeah.
Or it could be that the fire department comes by and asks to see it. So
Oh, your sound went out again.
how about now?
It's fine now.
Okay. Yeah, what I was saying was that at Blues Fest, Cindy was very reluctant to put this on us, but it was evident that we needed to have the proper tent. That was one of the things we invested in. So we bought a $2,000 purple tent. And I think it was also part of the reason why after we got the tent, we started thinking maybe we shut down this space and just be people that float around with the tent. But I think rather than ever sitting in paying $50 to have my tent set up next to other artists, I'm more likely to get a busking license and just put my tent up in the park.
I'm going to spray the tent. There's a fire retardant stuff you can spray the tent with.
How does that help you with the
fire code?
Yeah.
They said if you spray it with the stuff, you're okay. You have to show them that you sprayed it and all that nice
How
stuff.
do you show them that you sprayed it?
I'll have the thing with me, the bottle.
Oh.
Yeah.
Who gave
But
you the information?
I've done a couple of other outdoor events already with the tent and never had a problem.
We used our tent for around 10 years before it became a problem. But then when it becomes a problem, you're like, oh, I either go home or I get cooked in the sun. So there's a bit of gambling to it, right? Like it's a little bit like going out and camping in the rough and hoping nobody sends you home in the middle of the night.
Well, so I'm doing Sea Space, and then I'm also doing Lilac Festival, and this will be the last year I do Lilac Festival.
Why is that?
Last year I did it with Dusty, and we didn't do very well because we were on 17th Ave, and this year I'm on 4th Street, and I'm right by the kids' tent.
Okay. But why is it your last?
I think it's just too much work, honestly. Get up early, and I'm having 2 other artists with me, so that's good. But still, it's like, getting, unloading, putting the tent up, getting their stuff, putting their tables up, all that preparation time. We'll see how it goes. I don't know if it'll be the last or not. It's just a lot of work for me by myself. So we'll see. But Sea Space, it's the first time I'm doing it. And then if it goes well, I'll do it again. But I had to get insurance for it.
Oh, they're getting everybody to get insurance?
Yeah, I had to get, the insurance was $18. I got it online.
Did they sell the insurance? You got it independently?
It's only for Seascape for that one day.
Did Seascape sell you the insurance, or did you get it through DD?
I got it from DUO or something.
Yeah.
Online.
Interesting.
Someone else suggested that too.
Yeah, we ended up having to get insurance to do the troll mural, and that was a nightmare.
Yeah. So We'll see how it goes, but I'll be at Sea Space on Saturday.
Nice.
And then at Lilac Festival with 2 other artists.
Is that the first weekend of June?
Yeah, June the 1st on the Sunday.
That's lovely.
So it's kind of cool. I'll be by the kids' tent, so that'll be interesting.
That's fun.
You like kids?
And then I am part of I'm actually on the staff. I'm volunteering this year, and I'm actually get to teach a course. It's a programming panel, I guess. I've never done one before.
No water bottles. Oh.
And so I'm going to put the panel. I'm going to teach about how to make your own polymer clay nails and claws out of polymer clay. Show them how to do it, and then they get take homes, and they can take it home and put it in their oven.
Nice.
So I have to write out a whole course thing and everything. So because I've never done one before.
That's good.
So I'm trying to branch out. And I'll be nervous too because I've never. I think Rumble actually helped me stand up in front of everybody and talk.
That's good.
So I've gotten more over that in general.
That's lovely.
We used to do art classes with the daycare next door to Rumble House, and the daycare's still there. So if we do that again, we'll give you a call, and you can come practice teaching some little kids.
Yeah, that would be fine. Actually, I like that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I couldn't have kids, so we have fur babies. We actually currently now have 3 cats, like I said. So the little children are getting along sort of with the older one, who's 8. But when I'm actually in the basement, she meows for 20 minutes because she wants to see me.
I miss my kitty.
Where's your kitty, Zach?
She's at Obachan's house. She's at Michi's mom's place.
Oh.
Felix has a part-time dog. So at his mom's house, they share a dog with another family.
Oh, what?
Yeah, it's just
Cool.
like half the week they have sometimes you go there and like, oh, you got a dog, I forgot. And then you don't see the dog for weeks, picking him up. And so he's talking about his experience with the dog. I think he's pretty low key. Like he's not very cuddly kid. So I think it's weird. The dog is like kind of a gushy dog. I don't think that family is very cuddly at all because when I go there, the dog really like clings to me. But I also think like it's a poodle. Poodles are kind of like the opposite of guard dogs, you know.
Poodles are actually extremely smart, by the way.
Yeah.
So they probably sense that, oh, he's an artist. I'm going to cling to him.
Because I'm a provider.
He says it.
Kelly, I'm going to tell you something.
Okay.
All pets so far in my life, especially the ones that don't like anybody, tend to like me. And so when I go to somebody's house and they go, oh, I've got a cat, but the cats hate men, that cat will like me. And this has been a lifelong activity. And I know people say this, like, oh, I have a special way with animals. I think not really wanting animals on you attracts animals. And the other thing that happens is I have a very warm body temperature. And I think that these animals don't necessarily cling to me as much as they...
like Jesse, I just love your warmth.
Yeah, I think they like that I'm just the warmest body in the room.
My friend's like that too. She runs warm too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So what I do, and I tell the kids in my school this, is that when I hold my wife's hand, if her hand is warm to mine, I just get rid of it right away. I only ever hold her hand when it's cold like a fish. And the reason for that is if her hand is cold like a fish, then I know that my hand is warm and cozy to her, right? Because heat transfer means one of us is warm and the other one's cold. And so I always want her to think I'm this super warm body. And so I just ditch her right away. If there's any warmth in her hand, I'm like, no, that is a sign my hand
It's the fish.
is cold and yucky. So
I'm the opposite. My hands are easily cold sometimes, and then my husband is like, "Your hands are cold." And I go, "Oh, that's good. Here, let me put them on the back of your neck."
yeah, does he like that?
He doesn't mind it, but it does shock him.
Do you have cold feet?
No, right now it's actually they're because I rolled my ankle a month and a half ago. They've been kind of warm. One, it's still healing, I guess.
My friend Kevin had like a heart failure, and so now he's got this machine that like pumps the medication he needs for his heart into him all the time. And one of the weird effects is it makes his feet burn, like he's alive, but sometimes it's like his feet are on fire by the end of the school day.
Oh.
And then on days where his feet don't burn, he tells me all about it. He's like, "Today's a special day because my feet weren't burning."
Oh.
And I have to feign like I'm interested.
I like, well, sometimes I can get really hot too. I like, I remember taking a bath in glacier water in high school. Yeah. All the kids wouldn't do it. I'm like, you guys are just, I'll do it. It was cold, but it was nice.
Mm-hmm. In the winter, I get overheated sometimes in my coat. And then if I take my coat off, I turn into a big steam cloud and just freaks out every time. She's like, "Oh my God, you're a steam cloud."
You're going to get pneumonia.
But you know when like you can see the steam coming off me?
Yeah.
I look like a Burning Man.
I'm surprised you haven't done the polar plunge if you're so warm.
When would I do that?
Oh, on a weekend when they're doing it.
It's cute. That's cute. You think my weekends?
Well, like you just go for a walk and they're having a polar plunge. Let's go.
What, downtown?
Jump into the river.
Well, it's on the lake or whatever.
Death. That's it.
Where's the lake?
I don't know. Like I've just seen them somewhere. I've never done one. I don't think I could do one. I think it'd be too much of a shock to my heart.
Mm.
They're popular out here.
Yeah, I bet. Do they do it
Oh,
in
in the
ocean?
freezing lakes of Van Groovy?
In the ocean, they do it. They're saltier.
In the winter?
Yeah. Like New Year's is a big one. Like New Year's Day is a big one, but
And do you do that?
throughout the winter. No. I'm too skinny.
Right.
Mhm.
That is a factor. You've never
There's no insulation on these bones.
Oh.
I'm working on that though. I think I'm gaining on it.
Can I tell you something?
Yes, please.
You should enjoy being skinny and keep skinny as long as you can and be in your natural body. Because as you get older, you'll naturally gain weight and it's way harder to take it off than put it on. And I only mean, I think you're perfect.
Yeah.
And I think your goal should be to stay nimble, which I think you are. You still skateboard.
I can still skate. Yeah.
Yeah. How often do you?
It'll be more now. I was snowboarding lots. I got
Yeah.
not a great number. I got 20 days on the mountain.
That's nice.
You have any joint pains?
Like snowboard into the skate park and then skateboard and then skateboard to the beach and then go surfing.
Do you have any joint pains?
Oh.
Do you have any like damages?
No, I'm sweet. I solved like a groin issue last year with some targeted physio.
To your groin?
Yeah. It was like the squats I'm doing at work.
What did you do to your groin?
It was definitely like a fatigue issue. I don't think I was,
Okay. I just
yeah.
You tell me it was an impact on a rail ride or something.
I mean, yeah, the high impact sports, wasn't curing anything.
I used to ride a unicycle, and I remember one time I was riding the unicycle, and I got kind of like nervous that I'd twisted myself,
Oh yeah.
and now I don't ride a unicycle. It's not worth it. The joy you get from being on one wheel. You go from one wheel to one testicle too fast. I'll ride my bi-testicle instead of my unicycle. And I don't know if I was being paranoid, but I think it was around the time I started teaching. And so what the hell is an adult doing on the unicycle in the first place? And I just kind of felt like a pulled groin muscle like you're talking about. But I was like, I was teaching about grade 7 science with compression force, compression, what's this again? Tension, compression, shear force, and torsion is how I would describe it. And so an ocular torsion is when you rip your eyeball out.
Cool.
And a testicular torsion is when you
Torsion.
twist your...
So scary.
Ooh.
Hey, I was going to ask you something relevant-ish. That had nothing to do with testicles.
What's on your mind?
Okay, here's a question. Science question. You ready?
Yeah.
If I told you that trees, did we talk about this recently?
Maybe. Yeah, we talk science.
They pull their nutrients. They pull some nutrients and some water up from the roots, but most of what makes trees grow, they pull in through the leaves. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
If they chop a tree down and it lands on your leg, they just got to cut the leg off. They don't try and get it out from under the tree because trees can be like tons, right? Or even like a log this big can be about almost as much as you can lift, right? So trees are incredibly heavy.
Yeah.
And if I told you they can't bring very much water up and they can't bring very much nutrients up, then you know that the tree's getting bigger and it's not bringing that mass in from the ground. So what makes the tree get bigger? Because it doesn't eat, right? It does absorb water, but where does all the mass come from in that tree? You think that tree came out of thin air?
This is is the answer known? Do we know? Does humanity know?
Tree came out of thin air.
Literally.
Yeah, so what happens is you know photosynthesis, right?
Yeah.
Well, the way I teach is I kind of look at photosynthesis and then I go, what's the part they forgot to tell me that's interesting? And that would be like, how the hell does that tree... Oh, yeah, chloroplast. Like you learn the names of these things, but they don't really tell you like what happens in photosynthesis. And it's really kind of interesting. There's two parts to the photosynthesis, right? The first part is like kind of like you have to go hunt a worm so I can catch a fish. So I go out and find a worm, I put that worm on a hook, put that hook in the water, and then I can catch a fish. I might eat that fish, or I might put that fish on a hook and catch a bigger fish. But the first part is investing in the second part. You got me?
Yeah, I'm with you.
If you forget about all the terminology, then what happens is there's water that gets pulled into the leaf. You know what water's made out of, don't you?
Hydrogen and oxygen?
Right, hydrogen and oxygen. Well, I use sunlight to break that hydrogen and oxygen apart, okay? And that does two things. The plant doesn't need oxygen, so it kicks it out, which is handy for us, and it does that twice. But it kicks oxygen out for the first time. It's like, I don't need this. It's like it took a crap, and its crap was oxygen, which we eat that shit up. But the light splits the hydrogen and the oxygen. It holds on to the hydrogen, but also knocks an electron off and keeps an electron so it's got some power to do the next stage. And it's got to do that like 6 to 10 times. I can't remember, but it's got to do that a lot. It's got to catch like 10 worms before it can go fishing, okay?
Okay.
When it's collected something like 6 or 12 electrons, and I can't remember how much it is, it's kind of got the battery energy that it needs to pull the next thing in, which is carbon dioxide. So you got carbon and oxygen, right? So for a second, it takes that juice that it got, that power it got from knocking the electron off the splitting the water, keeps the hydrogen. It keeps it. The water has turned into hydrogen and oxygen. It lets the oxygen go, which is good for us. The second stage, though, is it takes in carbon dioxide and it splits the carbon and the oxygen. It kicks the oxygen out, which is again is good for us, and it holds onto the carbon. So the plant mixes the carbon and the hydrogen together to make sugars. And that carbon collects in the plant, and all of that tree grew out of thin air. It breathed in our carbon dioxide, it held on to the carbon, and it got bigger.
Whoa.
You know who taught me that? I did.
Who?
The night before I taught it to my kids, because I'm like, I don't really get this. And this is the problem with all the sciences. I get to the point where it's like, oh, this is called the flippity flu, and this is what the flippity flu does. I'm like, how the hell does the flippity flu do what it does? And so 4 hours into researching, I kind of understand what's happening with the carbon capture in the tree, right? And then it's actually pretty amazing when you think about how that carbon is kept. So I go to bed, I'm 202 pounds. I sleep all night. I get up, and before I go to the bathroom, I weigh myself, and I'm 200 pounds. I lose 2 pounds of carbon in my breath all night, right? And those trees, they take that carbon in, and they're just constantly growing and getting bigger and bigger because they're constantly pulling that carbon out of the air, storing that carbon in their tree trunks. And that's why when I cut the tree down, I can burn that carbon as an energy source. That carbon is stored energy from the sun, and sometimes it's energy from last week, and sometimes it takes 8 minutes to get to the earth. Sometimes it's energy from last week, and sometimes it's energy from 8 million years ago because the tree turned into coal, and then I burned the coal, and I'm still using the sun's energy.
Talk about supply chain.
Right? It's a supply, right? Because I keep breathing that oxygen in and then tainting it with my carbon. And then,
What about this? What about this? I heard this that like the trees, like the fauna is, or wait, was it flora? They're the predators, and
yeah,
and they got, and then like the nitrogen cycle requires our decomposition.
Yeah.
well, that's where coal came from. That's super interesting too, because and I don't remember how many it is. I think it might be 6 billion years ago. There was just plants and not enough animals and bacteria to break down the trees. So when a tree died, it would fall over, but it would stay on the earth for like either thousands of years or tens of thousands of years. The tree would stay on the earth long enough to turn into a rock. And that rock would get covered by dirt. And then eventually these decomposers came along that would break down the trees. So trees would last hundreds of years instead of hundreds of thousands of years. And so there's this span of time from like 6 billion years to 4 billion years. And I don't know the exact numbers, where when the trees fell, they just turned into coal. Then they got covered over. And then all the coal in the world comes from this one span of time that the trees didn't have anything to break them down. It is a little like mind-boggling to me that the trees appeared without the biomass to turn the oxygen back into carbon dioxide for them. But that's a little bit like, dinosaurs had like feathers for millions of years before their bones got light enough to fly. How did those feathers help them before they could fly? Makes sense by the end of the story, but some of the beginnings of those stories seem to be a little kooky.
Jesse looks sleepy.
I always hit a wall around right around now.
I told her at the beginning of the night I really wanted to go for a walk.
No,
I way of
I go for a walk. I'll get comfy cozy in 2 pants.
I'm not taking you for a walk if you look this tired. What am I, a monster?
But I get nice oxygen.
Snap out
I
of
get
it.
the nice oxygen. And then
I think we're going to go to sleep. You look tired.
It's only 9:30. I feel like everything will be fine.
We usually go till 9:36. Oh, is it 9:35?
Yeah.
Oh, we got 1 more minute. Are you going to sing us a song?
Possibly.
Kelly, you want to sing us a song tonight?
No.
Sing us a song near the piano man. Eric Valmers does not approve. What are you gonna sing? How about the Beach Boys?
What by the Beach Boys? Good Vibration. Oh, I
God
know.
only knows
Yeah.
what I'd be without you.
I may not always love you. As long as there are stars above you, you never need to doubt it. I'll make you so sure about it. God only knows what I'd be without you. If you should ever leave me, the life would still go on, believe me. The world could show nothing to me. What good would living do me? We lost a camera. God only knows what I'd be without you.
God only knows.
God only knows what I'd be without you.
How did we lose the camera?
It was when the picture came off, like the light came off.
Got you.
Thank you so much, Kelly and Zach, for joining us.
Bye.
Thank you. See you next week.